My name is Tanaka. I am the host and producer of a podcast called The Body Project Podcast, and I run a small fitness studio in Toronto, Canada. But more importantly, I am a mother of two beautiful little kids. I have a 4 and 3/4 year old girl, as she'd like to say, and a 6-year-old boy who just started school this week. I am doing these Mindful Mummy Monday interviews with different moms throughout the world that are coming into Toronto for September 30th, where Dr. Shefali is coming to speak about her conscious parent movement. The profound impact that Dr. Shefali has made on my life is just a little bit of the ripple of what she is doing in the entire globe on parenting. Make sure you join us on September 30th. I will post below all the details on how you can get your ticket so you don't miss this incredible event. Oprah has touted Dr. Shefali as a leading thought agent in parenting and how we can better be human beings and amazing parents to our next generation. Today I am interviewing Dipa. Dipa is a mother of a young boy and believes that the work that Dr. Shefali does has made a distinct difference in the way that she interacts with her son, builds relationships with him, and is a better parent.
Yeah.
So, in order to share the profound impact that Dr. Shefali's work has had, I'm doing these interviews every week, right? We're going to call them Mindful Mummy Mondays. So, it's really about, I guess, asking thought-provoking questions so that people can better understand who Dr. Shefali is as a thought leader in parenting, what conscious parenting is, and how the learnings that we get from Dr. Shefali are really life-changing tools that are really applicable in our lives. So thank you for sitting down with me, Dipa, today.
Yes.
So Dipa, you were saying you are a mom of an 8-year-old boy and
Yes.
you are a physician, correct?
I am a pharmacist and I'm trained in something called functional medicine, which is getting to the root cause of chronic symptoms, chronic disease, and really addressing the person as a whole to get to the bottom of their, because we don't just do functional medicine, but we do lifestyle medicine too. And so that's why I really love her work too, because the emotional and psychological piece is so important in terms of disease manifestation as well. So we really try to address that component as well.
Okay, amazing. So Dipa, tell me a little bit about yourself. How many kids do you have?
I have one 8-year-old son.
Okay.
I saw an interview with her, obviously with Oprah.
Yeah.
And at the time, my son was around 3, and I had a really hard time with him at that age. I was going through some personal stuff, which was resolving at that time, but I just was very short with him, very irritated. I had like anger issues with him. I would yell and scream. And when I saw the interview, it was just like a glimpse that I saw. It wasn't even the whole interview, but just that, I guess, glimpse that I saw, it just like resonated so deeply with me that I was just like, okay, I keep blaming him, but the problem is me. And it was just like a stab in my heart. I was just like, I am being the worst mom right now. So I ordered a book. I read The Conscious Parent, and it all sounded wonderful. And I hadn't really started like a spiritual journey at that point. So some of it, to be honest, didn't really make sense to me. And I don't think I was really ready to receive the message, because I was like, okay, this all sounds wonderful, but how the heck am I supposed to apply this? And then it was in 2016 when I had some complications with my labor and delivery, and I had ended up having a small bowel obstruction. And then in 2016, it reoccurred again, and it actually reoccurred exactly 6 years after my son was born. So around the same time, 6 years after he was born. And at that time, I just wasn't expecting that to happen. And I got caught up in the whole victim mentality. Like, why did this happen to me? Why me? Blah, 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 the whole story. Mm-hmm. And then I was on her email list, and I started receiving emails shortly after this happened. And I know like she was talking about manifestation and all this stuff. So I watched the webinar, and it was at the end, she was promoting her year-long Year of the Awakened Heart course. Mm-hmm. And so for the first time I was like, you know what, I am going to do something for myself. And, I knew that it didn't directly have to do with parenting, but I'm like, I just need to do this for myself. It was something was just drawing me and calling me to take the course. So I took the course, and basically it was probably like the best decision I've made. And that really is what got me down the whole like spiritual path. And it's not just about her messages, as you know, is not just about children. It's about yourself, really, right? So that's kind of the back end.
Right. Okay. Thank you. So let's take it back to the beginning. When you did see Dr. Shefali on Oprah,
Yeah.
tell me what it was about that resonated with you.
I can't even explain it, to be honest, but I feel like, the old saying goes that when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And that's what really sparked some change. And instead of always placing the blame on my son, I really started to kind of become more aware of where I could have contributed to the tantrum, or where I could have contributed, or my energy could have contributed to him not wanting to go to sleep. And that really started that awakening process and that transition of how I can influence his energy, and how my energy can really influence the decisions that he makes. Because if I show up with an energy of lack, an energy of wanting him to change, then he's just going to resist. So I don't know what it was about the interview, but there was just something that I knew in her message that really wanted me to take more responsibility and ownership over the way I can influence another human being, especially the child-parent relationship.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you gave us a bit of a snapshot of before seeing Dr. Shefali's work. If you could do a side-by-side comparison, like the chaotic running around and you getting upset with him, how does that scenario kind of look like now?
So I think the main thing for me is recognizing and accepting that my son is not like me. So one of the main things that I've recognized is I always try to project the way I am onto him. So I am a very type A type of personality. I'm very organized. I like things very orderly. I'm controlling. I'll admit it. And so it's just making me aware of that, and the fact that he's not like that. And he doesn't have to be like me. So
Right.
he is more of a spirited personality. He likes chaos, and he, is not, I guess, controlling, and he's more free flowing. And I think just recognizing that he is his own sovereign spirit and his own sovereign being and his own personality has really helped. I'm not saying that I'm perfect. I still, there are times where I catch myself where I'm trying to control or change him or shift, his behavior, but I'm way more aware of it now. And I try to be more present with him instead of trying to think of all my to-do lists. So I think that our relationship has improved greatly because I have a better understanding of who he is as an individual. And instead of trying to change him, trying to change myself. I always try to say that I think the greatest teaching that, the reason he came into my life is to show me that I don't need to be as serious as I always am, to be more playful, to allow, life to happen and not have to have everything so controlled and, scripted, because shit's going to happen. And, that's kind of what I think he's teaching me, is that I have to flow more with the, unpredictabilities of life. Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think that's what I love. Part of what I love so much about her work, that she allows us to see our children as our teachers, right?
Yes.
And allow us to kind of mirror ourselves and say, okay, it's a profound place to guide them from, allowing them to be the forces that they are.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So just allowing him to be him, and just, really honoring his spirit and honoring his personality. And I think that a lot of the problems that we have as parents really resolve indirectly when we're able to do that.
I completely agree. And, you know, parenting is one of the hardest tasks in the world. And a baby doesn't show up with a manual by any means, right?
Yeah.
And for me, Dr. Shefali's work has, especially the Awakened Family, has been almost like a playbook to troubleshoot, you know, the troubled situations and daily interactions, as well as a way for me to acknowledge my little ones. I have two little ones. Acknowledge them, let them be seen, feel heard, and hopefully gain confidence in who they are through that.
Yes, yes, exactly. I read all of her books now, and I really, each one has a very, you know, unique and different message. And you know, I really love The Awakened Family too. Um, I think that one's a little bit more tactical, along with Out of Control.
Yeah.
So I really love those two. So The Conscious Parent is great for the theory and the kind of background information in terms of what her work is about, and then the other two are a little bit more tactical. So I really enjoyed all three of her books. And you know, just seeing her live and in person, I've had the privilege of being able to witness her speak 3 times in person, and each time there's different aspects of the message that just resonate with me differently. And her energy is just, you know, when you see her on YouTube, it's completely different from when you see her in
I
person.
completely agree. She is an outstanding speaker, and you're right. She radiates this unbelievable energy when she's on stage. Yeah.
And it just makes you want to be a better person, not just a better parent, but just really, you know, mirror that same energy into your life, right? And it's just very inspiring. And you know, every time I see her present live, it just, you know, really want to better myself and be a better human being. So
I agree. So we are so excited to welcome Dr. Shefali into Toronto on September the 30th. I think it'll be such an amazing space for moms especially, but all parents to culminate, and even non-parents, to hear her messaging, to hear the applicable tools. Consciousness as a whole has been a lingo in over the last 10, 15 years in not only the parenting industry, but also through spiritual channels and, you know, as a worldwide kind of movement. Sometimes, however, the word consciousness can be challenging. Some people hear consciousness and think, oh my goodness, like it's too spiritual and maybe not applicable. But I want to hear from you. How has conscious parenting been tangible, applicable? Maybe even give us a case study of how you would have done it before when a situation came up with your son, and how you bring that conscious parenting in and make it so that anybody can use this in their day-to-day life.
So to me, consciousness means just bringing awareness to our thoughts, our actions, our behaviors, our energy. And it also means questioning the day-to-day, questioning the dogma, questioning why we want our children to change or behave a certain way. And when we question that, we realize that a lot of it is societal conditioning, right? So there's times where, you know, I catch myself where my son wants, you know, say we're going to a special occasion or someone's house, and I want him to dress nicely and fix his hair and be all manicured and perfect. And he resists and he says, no, mommy, I don't want to wear that. I want to wear this, right? And in the past, I guess I would have really forced it down his throat. I would have really coerced him into wearing what I wanted him to wear. And, you know, these are tiny little things that I'm talking about, but it's the day-to-day struggles that really stress parents out. Mm-hmm. And so now I'm aware of when I project what I want onto him. And instead of, I guess, demanding that he wear something, I try to have more of a dialogue with him, and I try to hear his opinion about what he wants to do as well. So I guess it's just creating that awareness in terms of how we automatically just, you know, force our kids to do things, and kind of, you know, and that can translate into really shutting their voice down, whether it's with what we want them to wear, what we want them to eat. If we don't allow them to express and have an opinion, then we're kind of conditioning them to just listen to authority and not question anything. And with our son, we've always encouraged him to question, right? Question dogma, question why, even just being healthcare practitioners, question why, the food pyramid is the way it is, because it's a lot of it is industry driven and lobbying from the government. So just questioning things, right, all the time. And so when we bring that openness and that open dialogue in with our children, then, we're able to better understand where they're coming from, instead of us coming from this dominating hierarchical positioning and just telling them what to do. So I guess the difference is more just with conscious parenting, and that word consciousness is just bringing that awareness of when we do that, so that we're able to make better decisions and able to reduce that conflict that we might have usually had with our kids, right? And just able to understand them better.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think it's so timely that Dr. Shefali is coming at the end of September. The energy shifts at this time of year. It's so much chaos with families and kids going back to school. I think it's the perfect time of year to come. Tell me why somebody who is busy like we all are and might not be able to find the time or think that they don't have the time should make the time to come see Shefali live on the 30th.
Honestly, it's a few hours out of your day. It's a weekend. It's a Sunday. There's no excuse. Like, for any parent, whether you have a newborn, whether you want to be a parent, whether you're pregnant, whether you have a teenager, whether you have, even if it's a 20-year-old child or adult child, her message is applicable to any age. And that relationship, for me, sometimes they'll say, oh, I wish I knew about her work when, my son wasn't even born, so I could have done things differently, but it's not too late. If you have a rough relationship with your child, if you feel like you don't have that connection with your child, honestly, it's never too late. Whether they're 16, 17, 18, 12, 8, whatever the age is, there is always room for changing the relationship and just deepening the connection. Because I think at the end of the day, as parents, that's what we want. We want our children, we want to have a deep connection with our children, and we want to have a good relationship with our children, and it's never too late to start that process. So, honestly, I've been telling my community, my friends, my family, that this is something that you truly do not want to miss out. As I said, you can watch all the YouTube videos. There's a lot of information on the web, but if you don't see her in person, you're not going to take away the same messaging. So I truly, really encourage all parents, all moms, all dads, all caregivers, anyone who is any way involved in any childcare to really come out and listen to her message, because it is truly mind blasting, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, I completely agree. Well, I look forward to seeing you on the 30th, and everyone knows where to access us. So I'm going to put all the details below this video so people can get tickets too.
Yes.
Thank you, Dipa. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thank you.
I hope you found this short interview insightful and that you will join us on September 30th. I promise you this evening will not only shift your thought process on parenting, but it will be a profound game changer in the way you interact and parent your children. Please let us know if you have any questions at all. We would love to hear from you, and I would love to share or answer any questions you may have for me.